Boy, science discovered that bacon may produce cancer. Well, you know, we're here to die anyway. Daniel Craig calls James Bond a misogynist. James Bond replied back, "You didn't complain about my misogyny when they offered you $24 million a movie, right, Craig?" And Adele releases her new single, Hello, and we all say goodbye to her smiles and hello to crying in the shower, eating pizza. Yo soy Chumel Torres and this is El Pulso, chiquito. Amigos, the Democratic Party. The only party boring enough to make you think that this is your best choice to have sex with. Well, last week the Democratic Party received news as disappointing as telling your family you'll be a musician. Vice President and elder version of Woody from Toy Story, Joseph Biden Jr., announced on Wednesday that he will not run for president, ending a period of remarkably public agonizing and clearing away one of the biggest potential obstacles to Hillary Clinton's path to the Democratic nomination in 2016.
Unfortunately, I believe we're out of time, the time necessary to mount a winning campaign for the nomination. But while I will not be a candidate, I will not be silent.
Joe Biden is not running for president! This was sad news for everyone, since he was one of the favorites for making it to the big race. Well, not for everyone. This is the footage of our hidden camera in Hillary Clinton's office by the time of the announcement. Biden said that this decision was mostly based on time. He not only has no time for assembling a winning campaign, but also he said he would have no time to spend with his loved ones. What are you talking about, Biden? Having a masculine figure absent from home has made some of the greatest rappers ever. Are you going to deny your loved ones being rock stars? Man, that's selfish. The Democratic Party is running now with the candidates we know now: Clinton, Sanders, and the other three no one gives a fuck about. Republicans, for their part, used this decision to needle Mrs. Clinton. I think Joe Biden made the correct decision for him and his family. Donald J. Trump, the leader in most polls for the Republican presidential nomination, said this on Twitter. "Personally, I would rather run against Hillary because her record is so bad." Donald still holds the majority of the polls and looks like if things keep going as they are, we could have the ugliest presidential candidate since Admiral Akbar. It's a trap! The thing about this election is that there's no clear choice for the Americans. Everyone has some flaws. In regards to the Democratic candidates, the voters are not sure about their intentions, or not sure about their socialist views, or not sure about their names. This uncertainty clearly represents good news for the Republican Party. The only disadvantage for them is that, of course, Donald Trump is your best shot. Are you fucking insane? According to the New York Times, Mr. Biden's ambivalence about running was rooted in raw and understandable emotion. By his own account, the vice president has not been entirely himself since his son, Beau Biden, died recently from a brain tumor. In public appearances in recent months, he has at times appeared morose and emotionally fragile. Emotionally fragile? Come on, New York Times! His son has just passed away. Can you be a little human about it? From a Pulso, we respect Mr. Biden's decision for not running for president due to family reasons. But with this, Biden has proved he is a man that puts family before anything. A feature we would like to have in a president, goddammit! Do you see the paradox that we're trapped in now? We have to respect the decision of someone because he's too much of a good guy, and we need a good guy running for the Democrats. But you know what? That's fine. We are still here with the current candidates. The good, but socialist. The bad, or not, we don't know. And the damned ugly. Regresamos. This is the Flash! Guys, everybody remembers when a few months ago there was a shooting in a movie theater while the movie Trainwreck was projecting. This could be something very normal if you are in an Adam Sandler movie and you're trying to kill yourself for watching it. But not in that moment. That was a tragedy, especially for the Trainwreck star Amy Schumer, who decided to speak for the people. She and her cousin Senator Chuck Schumer have teamed up for crusade on guns. And last Sunday, she and Chuck opened up about the shooting that killed 3, including the gunman. The star of the amazing show Inside, Amy Schumer, spoke again after her participation 2 months ago, in which she explained why it's so important to have gun control laws put in place. This time she introduced the hashtag Aiming for Change to unite people under a common cause. Schumer, as they call themselves, urge Americans to use whatever means possible to push for an end to gun violence. The pair hope for the online campaign will create groundswell that forces a vote early next year. This proposition used the next points: close background check loopholes, to stop allowing criminals to avoid background checks at gun shows and online. Hi, I would like to buy a gun. Okay, sir, are you mentally ill? Of course not. Fucking lady, I would shoot you if I could. Alright, that will be $17.99. 2. Make background check better. Stop domestic abusers buying guns and complete background checks on all sales. Hey Marla, shut up or I'm gonna shoot you! Oh, come on, you don't have the right! Of course I have! I just bought my gun in Walmart. I have papers. There's to some corpse somewhere. And 3. Shut down the illegal gun pipeline. Make straw purchasing and gun trafficking federal crimes. Okay, you two guys, we caught you smoking marijuana and you doing a shooting in a kindergarten. So, the marijuana guy, go to jail. And you, we're gonna let you go, alright? But with a warning, sir. Do not come close to a kindergarten, amigo. Now fuck off. Give me the marijuana guy, I wanna beat the shit out of him. We are getting serious too because we believe this could help you, northern amigos. Yes, we believe in the freedom and this is part of our constitution. But learn a little from us. We as Mexicans are not allowed to buy guns officially, and things are not great. If a comedian like Amy is talking serious about these matters, we are serious too because we love you guys. We're doing the same thing, trying to avoid assholes.
That's what I thought.
Come on, guys, you are the big brother. Make some example. Amigos, the neighbors. We all had neighbors in our lives. Some are cool just as Kramer or annoying as Flanders. Some you want to do business with, like Mexico with the US. Or you just deny them, like Guatemala if you're Mexico. Well, there's a new neighbor in the neighborhood of news. The most boring neighborhood ever. That's right, all because there's a new Prime Minister in Canada. Justin Trudeau won Canada's general election for the Liberal Party, ending the almost 10-year rule of the Conservative Party and Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Trudeau, 43, has led the Liberals for 2.5 years, and until recently, he was viewed by critics as not ready. Also, his father was Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau, a Canadian leader of legendary proportions who helped usher the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and official bilingualism throughout the country. But let's analyze this. Trudeau is in the politics since he was a baby. According to the New Yorker, the first person to predict that he would succeed his father was, of all people, Richard Nixon. At a state dinner in Ottawa in 1972, when Justin was just a few months old, Nixon raised a glass of champagne to the future Prime Minister of Canada. Yeah, maybe Nixon is not the best godfather for political campaigns, but hey, at least he wasn't Trump. Trudeau II took the Liberal Party from 3rd place in the polls to win the election, and he will lead a majority government. His pledges to do in office are boost government spending to reactivate the economic recession. Just be careful, right? Raise taxes on the wealthy. Liberals love this so much no matter which country you're from. Take more refugees, up to 25,000 Syrian refugees. Can you do something with the visa requirements for Latin America? No? Okay. And legalize marijuana. Whoa, hippie, slow down. Trudeau has vowed to legalize marijuana, a drug that he says has needlessly left many Canadians with criminal records and costs the government too much in law enforcement. It's also unclear how quickly Trudeau will roll out his policy. He has admitted that he hasn't sorted out the details like how the cannabis will be taxed and how those revenues will be distributed. From the Mexican studios of El Pulso, we send our congratulations to the Canadian people for their electoral process. And we remind to Prime Minister Trudeau that with great power comes great responsibility. Because Canada is not only neighbor of the US, it's also for Mexico and all the Americans. So please, Mr. Trudeau, keep an eye on Justin Bieber. Okay? Thanks. Amigos, we've been trying not to talk about Trump this time. Sorry, we failed. Well, this is not quite entirely about him, but if we want to talk about Ben Carson, we must mention Donald Trump. Indeed, just when we thought no one could beat up Trump in the talking shit category, well, life shows us that in politics you can't take nothing for granted. All the fuss started when two polls released Thursday and Friday showing Trump slipping to second place in Iowa, while Carson surged to first place on both. Ben Carson was, until last week, one of the few Republican candidates ignored by our second favorite ginger moron. After Ron Weasley, of course. Yes, I hate you, Ron Weasley. Why Hermione? Why him? Damn it! Anyway, during a hearing in Miami, Trump pretended to read a headline. Donald Trump falls to second place behind Ben Carson. He said, "We informed Ben, but he was sleeping." Later in that interview, he added, "Ben Carson is super low energy, right? You're super low." Carson could have ignored him, and we still believe this would be a better answer than the one he gave to CBS. Watch this. We don't want to spoil the fun. Hear it for yourself.
I have plenty of energy, but, I am soft-spoken. I do have a tendency to be relaxed. I wasn't always like that. As a teenager, I would go after people with rocks and bricks and baseball bats and hammers, and of course, many people know the story when I was 14 and I tried to stab someone.
Thank God he's super slow, isn't he? Carson also loves to use slavery and Nazi metaphors. Let's see what this former brain surgeon said about the historical parallel between slavery and abortion. Yes, I'm not kidding. During slavery, a lot of the slave owners thought they had the right to do whatever they wanted to that slave, anything that they chose to do. And, one of the abolitionists had said, I don't believe in slavery. I think it's wrong. But you guys do whatever you want to do. Where would we be now? He also said he does not support exceptions for rape and incest. Instead, why don't we chase each other with bricks and hammers? Oops, sorry, was that the old Mr. Carson? So, my friends, I don't know how about you, but Republicans won't cease to amaze me. Only not in the good way. This just seemed the race for dumb and number 3 instead of the presidency. But as a biblical proverb said, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast the stone." Of course, if we mean Carson's way, it's more accurate to say, find a hammer, or a brick, or a knife. That is almost. Amigos, Black Lives Matter's protests is an issue that has been a recurring topic on Fox News, and without Colbert putting his shit together, someone had to step up and do it. Yes, it's me. I am not the best and I have to compete with the pros, and I know I talk like a drunk version of Sofia Vergara sometimes. But this just can't go on this way with Fox News throwing feces without me throwing some too. So, going on, Fox News hosts the Bill O'Reilly coverage of the Black Lives Matter movement. This is like to put a vegan to cover imaginary news about the bacon being responsible for cancer. Oh, that's true? Wow. Fuck. So.
We think if you have an organized group in America saying we want dead cops, that all decent people would reject that group. You would think, correct?
Well, O'Reilly said on the O'Reilly Factor, or the We Don't Give a Fuck About Factor, on Thursday.
But the Democratic Party is actively embracing Black Lives Matter.
O'Reilly was referring to the Democratic National Committee's decision to invite members of the movement to organize and host a presidential town hall forum on racial justice. Because when you have a democracy, that's exactly what you do. Keith Boykin, who was an aide to President Clinton and a guest on the show, stated, "I think it's a good move on the part of the DNC to work with the Black Lives Matter movement, the official movement, not everybody out on the street. The Democratic Party needs to have the support of the African American community.
All right, so you believe that the Democratic Party is correct in embracing a radical group, a group that calls for police officers to be killed.
O'Reilly said to Boykin, "Do I have your opinion correct?" Also said meanwhile he was laughing and spitting poison. No, Boykin responded.
Do I have your opinion
No,
correct?
I did not.
Yeah,
No.
well, I mean,
No,
the group calls for police officers to be
You've mischaracterized
killed.
my opinion.
How?
You mischaracterized my opinion. That was not a reflection of the entire movement. He told O'Reilly. Has anybody in the leadership ever said that?
Boykin.
Has anybody in the leadership ever said
Mr.
that?
Boykin,
has
did anybody
has DeRay McCutcheon ever said that? Has anyone in the leadership ever
Mr.
said
Boykin,
that?
you're
As the discussion got heated, O'Reilly threatened to have Boykin's microphone cut. Then O'Reilly asked him, did anybody in the Black Lives Matter movement repudiate "we want dead cops"? And he didn't let him answer and cut his microphone.
You're either going to stop talking or I'm going to cut your mic off. Did anybody in the Black Lives Matter movement repudiate "we want dead cops"? Thank you.
O'Reilly then took the opportunity to compare the Black Lives Matter movement to the Nazis, which is funny coming from a white supremacist. All right, so you believe that the Democratic Party is correct in embracing a radical group, a group that calls for police officers to be killed? O'Reilly said, again making sure that everyone understands that he doesn't give a fuck about listening to someone else.
Look, would you be comfortable with the Republican Party bringing in the storm front, the Nazi people, and saying, we'd like our candidates to talk to you guys? Would you be comfortable with that?
O'Reilly added,
They're an extreme group, the Nazi Party. The Black Lives Matter is also an extreme group, as you've heard, as we prove it.
Boykin, whose microphone was turned back on later, responded to O'Reilly's sensationalist claim.
Black Lives Matter movement is not the Nazi Party. It's an offensive suggestion to make that comparison, Bill. I'm outraged that you would say that.
I know.
From El Pulso, we don't have any advice but telling our fellow African American community to stay strong and also remind them that they have Tupac and Kendrick Lamar as banners. We Mexicans have Mi Banda el Mexicano.
Puede ser muy hermosa, pero es muy orgullosa.
Regresamos. Well, that's it for us. My name is Chumel Torres, and this is El Pulso. Your subscription and thumbs up are greatly appreciated. I'm gone, but before I go, I would like to remind you, like every week, los amo. Estúpido.